Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic. I'm really looking forward to this puzzle today. Now, first of all, my microphone, I think, has been not doing so well the last couple of days. So I've gone back to another microphone, which is better at shutting out noise from behind it. So although it might be a bit quieter, I might have to get the levels right over a day or two. I'm hoping to have slightly better sound quality today. Sorry if that has been a nuisance. Now, Patreon time. We have released yesterday the incredible Skunkworks Collective's Nightmare Pack, and this features 19 puzzles by, and I'm going to list them because they're brilliant, Wisteria Fool, Bremster, Frappi, Mavericks JD, Doran T, Doomed Yacht, Randall, DJV, Chili, Roundplaner, Mixo, Sotek, Jeremy Dover, Rockrat Zero, and of course Riff Clown, who also pulled it all together. Many other people have been involved in checking and vetting and testing, and we are incredibly grateful to them all. It is a fantastic collection of puzzles and pretty difficult to get through the whole set to earn yourself the shout out. You will, I'm not saying you didn't deserve it in other months, but if you get through this one, that is something special. Really is. Fabulous set of puzzles based on the nightmare constraint, in which cells and knights move apart cannot add up to 5 or 15, which is a really fascinating idea by Wisteria Fool and Riff Clown together. I'm happy to correct the idea I may have given out before, that it was just Riff Clown's idea. Really interesting, and do give it a try. It's a tough collection, but you will be grateful. You know, getting through one of those puzzles is absolutely a feat. Give it a try. It's really interesting. Okay, enough desperate plugging, but it is really interesting. Not enough then. And don't forget our apps with our gas app. Our second gas app is out now. The first 30 puzzles done. I know there is someone on the comments saying they really want the other 30 puzzles uploaded immediately, but our kind of model is to feed them into the gas app over a bit of time. So there will be 10 more each month. And if you can do them in half an hour, brilliant, that's great. But, you know, take your time over them. It's a brilliant app, so cheap. And check out the links under the video for the apps, for Patreon, for the Discord server. Sven's Sudoku pad, very well worth a purchase, even cheaper than a gas app. And I mean, loads going on all the time on the channel with crosswords and puzzles and what have you. Now, this puzzle today is by Celery. Celery has featured a remarkably few number of times on the channel. I think it's 3. Celery has sent us some really intriguing puzzles, and I know that at least once, and I emphasize the at least because I'm not sure, I have started on a Celery puzzle and just looked absolutely fascinating, and I couldn't get through it. So we have tried more than the 3 that we have published, Celery. I'm telling you that. And you are a much respected and feared name. And this puzzle, I think the setup is absolutely awesome. In the last week, I'm sure I've done 1 or 2, maybe it's Simon, I don't know. I've done at least one really impressively minimalist puzzle in terms of what was in the grid. And I'm thinking particularly of Joe Darwo's Less is More, in which the title nodded at that. But I think this takes the cake. Now, there are only 2 long lines, a few short German whisper lines, 1 given digit. That is very little stuff. And there is no chess constraint. There's no big negative constraint in this puzzle. And I think it's really interesting. It's a weird variant on 159 Sudoku. Do follow through the rules with me, because I think they're really interesting. And I am looking forward to trying this puzzle. I'm determined to persevere if it's tough, because Celery deserves that. Yeah, really interesting. So, what are the rules of this puzzle? I've forgotten to say anything. Merchandise. Oh, you know the drill. Okay. What are the rules of this puzzle? So we've got normal Sudoku rules apply. So we're going to put 1 to 9 in every row, column, and every 3 by 3 box. We like that. Now, Digits along the orange line indicate the column in which the digit 5 appears in that row from left to right. So, if we had a 3 here, in this row, the 5 would be in column 3 because that's the digit on the orange line. So you'd put the 5 there. That's simple enough. It's like a 159 constraint, but a little bit different because it's not a straight line. Now, the blue line's the same the other way around. Digits along the blue line indicate the row in which the digit 5 appears in that column. So again, a 3 here, I suppose, would indicate that in row 3 of this column, there would be a 5. So that's what the orange and blue lines are doing in this puzzle. They're not the normal orange and blue colours, they couldn't be. The green lines are German whispers, that's more normal. So along a green line, the digits must differ by at least 5. So you could have 1 and 6 here, or 1 and 9, but you could not have 3 and 7 because they're too close together. Difference of at least 5 between 2 adjacent digits along the line. And that's all. That's all that's going on. No knight's move, no king's move, just those. I find this extraordinary. And it kind of tells me that this constraint is very interesting, but it's not a puzzle that we've worked with before. So I'm really intrigued to give it a try. Do try it on the link under the video. Your best guide to its actual difficulty level, as broken a read as it is, will be my video time, which of course may be elongated by errors and stupidities, but we shall see how we get on. Let's get cracking. I'm really fascinated. So, what do? We've got a German whisper with a 2 on it, so we know where the low digits are on this German whisper line. I'm going to mark them in blue, sort of low temperatures, orange for higher temperatures. Oh, but there's not a lot of constraints on these digits. These are high. They can't be 6 because they're touching a 2. So they're from 7, 8 or 9. This one could be a 4 even, touching 2 9s on the line. So actually, that was not a very interesting thing to do. So maybe the German whispers are not the way in. We're going to have to start considering the big old diagonal lines. Right, what? Okay, well, at least in this row, we've limited where 5 can be a bit. So the places where 5 can be are in columns 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, 9. Now I can see that some of those are eliminated immediately. Right, there's a given 2, so we can't put a 2 in that cell. We couldn't put a 1 in it either, because that would imply that 5 was in column 1 in this row. And if we're putting a 1 in the cell, 5 can't be there. We also can't put a 5 in, because that implies 5 is in column 5, but this would be a 5. And can we put 9 in? If we had a 5 there, no, we can't. That would imply that the 5 was in column 9. Oh, can we? Can we put a 5 in column 9? No, we can't, because of the column, basically. That would imply that in the column, no it wouldn't. Yes, it would. The blue line applies to the columns. Okay, the orange line applies to the rows. The blue line applies to the columns. If we were to put a 5 here, which is what would be indicated by a 9 there, then that 5 would say that in this column, 5 appears in row 5, which not only is a clash of 5s, but would put a 5 on a German whispers line where they can never be. So, that is not a 9, that is 7 or 8, and that is telling us that 5 appears in one of those 2 cells. This is already fascinating. So, do we move down the line? No, I'll tell you what we'll do. Well, I could, but it doesn't seem all that helpful, because in this row, I kind of think this cell could be 1, 3, 4, 6... 8 or 9, maybe not 8 for some reason, but that's a lot of possible digits. So I'm much less interested in coming down here. I'm much more interested by what 5 does in one of these cells for the blue line, because what that's saying is that one of these is a 1, because 5 is in row 1 in that column. Oh yeah, but that doesn't then act on the rows. Now, okay, I'm going to have a second or two to wonder about when we do 159 with columns, and like we have this whole column gives the positions of fives within the column. There is a special rule that applies there, that each of these digits have to be one from the low digits, one from the medium digits, and one from the high digits. Now, does that apply here? Yes, it actually does. So along these lines, I think it is worth doing a bit of thinking about the whole concept to begin with. Along these lines, in these groups of 3 within the boxes, there's got to be one high, one low, and one middly digit, because the 5 that is given by a low digit in this box is that 5 in one of those 2 cells. But there can only be one 5 in this box, so none of these other digits could be 2 or 3. One of them's going to have to be 4, 5, 6, putting a 5 somewhere here, and one of them's going to have to be 7, 8, 9, because there's one 5 in this box. So yes, that does apply. Each set of 3 has one low, one middly, and one high digit. I don't think there's anything to say that these are extra regions, that these can't have repeats, is there? Because if you had an 8 here... Oh, there is. Yes. This is obvious. I'm sorry. Yes, in the final grid, there will be one 5 in each column. Obviously, that's axiomatic. The fact that there's one 5 in each column means that the numbers 1 to 5 appear once each on this line. The fact that there's one 5 in each row means that the numbers 1 to 9 each appear once on this line. This is clear. I'm pretty sure I can put a 5 in this cell, because I have seen that this cell could be a 5, and I suspect that none of the others could be a 5 on this line. And if I now know that there has to be a 5 on the line, and I do, yeah, none of these others could be a 5. If you were to put a 5 in here, it implies that column 5 has a 5, and that would be a clash of 5. So that just won't work in any of these cells, or indeed for the columns in any of these cells. And yet these lines, I think I've just proved, must have one of each digit. So that central digit is a 5, which tells us nothing about the rest of the puzzle. It just says there's a 5 in column 5 in that row and in row 5 in that column, which is the most ultimately self-referential digit I've ever seen. But it does the job. So how can we move forward now? Let's look at columns 1 and 9, which have these green lines in where 5s can't appear. So where is 5 in this column? No, where is 5 in this column? For this digit, right, for this digit, this is showing, for the blue line, where is 5 in this column? There are very few cells where it can be. It can't be in those cells. Oh, this is it. It can't be in those cells because we know that 5 in the box is in one of those 2. It can't be in those cells because a German whisper line can never have a 5 on it, for the simple reason that there is no digit that can neighbour a 5 and have the required difference. It can't be here because we are not putting any more 5s on these orange and blue lines. So the 5 in column 9 is here. Once we put a 5 in the grid, I think we get to put 2 digits in. We know that that is in row 8 for this column, and we know it is in column 9 for this row. So that feels like progress. The other digit in these cells is not low, and it's now not high, so it's medium, and it's not 5. So it's 4 or 6, and that says that there has to be a 5 in one of these cells, which is kind of obvious in a way, although it's maybe less obvious that that gives us a 4 or a 6 on this line. Now, 5 in the bottom row, let's try that, because it can't be here, it can't be on the green line, and it can't be in this box. So this number, oh no, this number, which is giving us the row position, is either 2, 3 or 5. Well, it can't be a 5, so that's 2 or 3. And that's putting a 5 in one of these positions. And now where does 5 go in the first column? Not here, because it's in one of those in box 7. Not here, because they're green lines, so it goes up here. And this that describes that position is also 2 or 3. And we've got a pair, and we're definitely going to get a 3 in the corner. Yes, that's describing the row, that's describing the column. It's fine for them to both be 2, 3 pairs. Right. So now, what else can we do? Again, we get a 5 in one of these positions. I'm actually going to pencil mark these. Those 5s gave rise to a 4 or a 6 there. These 5s, yeah, they give rise to a 4 or a 6 here. Oh, and one of them is going to be a 9. Oh, it's going to be that one, yes. One of these puts a 9 on this line. That is right. And the 9 can't be here because we've already got a 9 in that row. So that's a 9. We get another 5 in the grid. This is quite big. This is lovely, actually. This is so clever. That 5 is described in its row by a 3. That's 3 in the corner. Losing its religion. That makes this a 2. I've only just seen that 8 makes this a 7. That gives us a 5 here. That 5 gets a vertical indexing of 1 here. Oh, this is brilliant. This 2 puts a 5 there in the column. That gets a horizontal indexing of 1 there. That is right. I'm just checking my thoughts. And this, yeah, that one has been indexed by those 2. That one has been indexed by those 2. That one self-referentially indexes itself twice. That one has been referenced by the 7 and the 1. That one by the 1 and the 2. Okay, so we have fully referenced the 5s we've put in. We've got a 5 to go in there. Now we can take 5 out of those cells. We've got an X-wing of 5s here. For the rows, that is saying that this is a 4, 6 pair. No, it's not. For the rows, it's, and that was going to break my middle, high and low digit thing there. That's how I worked out it was wrong. It's saying that this is a 2, 8 pair because it's column 2 and column 8. So on the rest of the diagonal, which we worked out has to all be different, we have a 4, 6 pair, and that's putting a 5 either there or there, there or there. So we get another X-wing of 5s. That's so freaky. Now, we can use that X-wing of 5s to fill in these 2 digits, or the pair that they're formed. They're in row 3 and 7. So that gives us 3 and 7 there. This must be 4 or 6. I'm basing that on the line candidates, but it also works for the column. Right, so that is really interesting as a start. I mean, I don't even know what the break-in on this puzzle was. I think it's just understanding what these rules mean. It's really interesting. Now, let's do something else in the puzzle. We probably need to move back to the German whispers. There are no knights moves to forget about. Right, let's look at this one. Let us colour it in alternate cells, but I don't know which one is high and which one is low on this. So I'll go green and purple and have a think about them. So 5 up, there's a 9 in one of these cells. What else have we got? Yeah, hang on. If these were low, that's a 1, 4 pair. This one can't be a 4. Oh, well, neither of them can be a 4, because in fact none of the green cells can be a 9. Yes, none of them can. That 9 prevents all of the green cells being a 9. And if they can't be a 9, you can't put a 4 in these purple cells. Therefore, they can't be low, where they'd have to be 4 and 1 because of the 2 and the 3 in the row. Therefore, purple is orange and they are high. Green is blue and they are low. And we adjust our colours. Right. Now, I was going to cross out 9 here. That's not the right thing to do. Let's work out. This is 1, 3 or 4. I'm just going to fill in the candidates. Ah, this is the one. This is 1 or 4. No, it sees 1, 2 and 3. That's gorgeous. This is a very helpful 4. 4's neighbour on a German whisper line must be 9. This can't be 4 because that can't be 9 anymore. This is a high digit. It can't be 6 because they can't both be 1. So this is 7 or 8. Oh, that 4 is going to sort out at least one pair of X-wings. We get a 6 here, 4 on the line. That's putting 5s in those positions because the orange line is doing the rows. That's right. Those 5s are going to give us these blue numbers. 3 in that column, 7 in that column. And we still can't do these. No, that's okay. We'll get to you. 4, 3. So, what else have we got? We've got other whisper lines. We've got this one, of course. And now we've got quite a few digits in this column. 8, 5, 3. We need a 1 on the line somewhere. Oh. Okay, something that's quite interesting is that we need either a 6 or a 4 on the line. Whatever that is, given that 6 and 4 are positioned here, must appear in one of these cells. Ah. I know where it goes. It goes there. Because 4 and 6 can't be in these positions. The rule about 4 and 6 is, and we've observed it at work somewhere like here, that their neighbours mustn't be able to see each other because each of 4 and 6 only has one Sudoku digit legal neighbour on a green line. 4 can only be next to 9. So if you put a 4 here, you'd have to put 9 in both of those positions. So this digit that appears in one of these two cells and is either 4 or 6 must be in one of these 3, but it can only be there. So that's 4 or 6. The digit it's next to is an extreme 1 or 9. But I don't know which it is, which is quite strange. So I haven't actually worked out the polarity of this line yet. 8, 5, 3. We've got 1 high and 1 low. This is going to be 1 high and 1 low. It's going to include either 4 or 6. Oh, this is so weird that I don't know how this works. I mean, there must be a way. What am I doing wrong? Maybe I'm just not doing enough Sudoku. It does sometimes happen. Incredible as it seems. Oh, I've got a 3 there, so that's not a 3. Now, if this was a 4, we'd need a 9 here, and that can't be a 9. So that's a 1. Let's do some whispers instead of Sudoku. This now can't be 9 or 7. Oh, actually, it sees 9, 8, and 7. Oh, look, it's exactly analogous to the one down the bottom that saw 1, 2, and 3. So that is a 6. Oh, there's a big old symmetry in this puzzle. That can't be an 8. This one I don't know much about. That can't be a 4 anymore, for various reasons. Still hasn't resolved anything here. Now, but in the top row, we need 3, 4, and 9. That is 3 or 4. Now, I do know that that's not 4 for a slightly peculiar reason. That is either 4 or 6, and the second of 4 or 6 in this column is in one of those two cells. So 4 and 6 are going to be used up in those two. That must be a 3, and that finishes the top row for me. I don't know if you need that kind of complex reasoning today, but we're using it. It's chili, so you probably do. Sorry, it's not chili, it's celery, so you probably do. Oh, I do hope I haven't got that name wrong. Both 6 letters ending in Y and beginning with C. It does confuse a crossword brain like mine. Now, has that not given me anything else? It hasn't really. These aren't resolved, are they? Yes, they... Oh my gosh. That is a given digit. For some reason, the given digits being written in black elude the gaze a bit for me. This has been obvious from the get-go. As soon as I wrote 2, 8 in there, I could obviously have corrected them. Anyway, there we go. I've done it now. The embarrassment rushes over me like a red wave, but we can finish off all the digits on the lines. That is now a 6 for column 6, for row 6. That's a 4 for row 4. Oh, that's probably quite helpful. This is a 6, so that's a 6. Now we know the polarity along this line. That's a 2. This is 7 or 9. We've got 4, 7 or 9. We must know that 2 is there in this box. Now, can we do this? Don't know. Yeah, there's a 9 on it. I can see that by Sudoku. There's a 4 on it. That's much more helpful. 4 can't be in the middle. So now we know the polarity. 4 must be on one end, and it's low digits on the end and high digit on the middle, which is where the 9 therefore goes. Okay. The other digit on it could be 1 or 3. Not 3 in that position. But that 9 can't go there, so in the central box it's in one of those, and that positions it in box 2. That actually sorts out all the high digits we had marked in row 2, and we can finish off row 2 entirely. And box 3 is our first complete box. 3 8 pair there. We can do 6 and 7. We've nearly got the top 3 rows complete, and that suggests we can finish column 6, that we're about to finish the whole puzzle. Look, yeah, there's symmetry again here. Those just went together. 6, 7, 8 in this row. No, that's not so obvious to me. Let's try the middle column. 1 9 pair here. 3 and 6 can go in down below. That is 7 or 8. Oops, that's 7 or 8. Oh, I can't do anything. That's a 4. This is 6. I'm really mistyping everything now. 1, 8 and 7 here. Oh, but that includes 1. There's a knowledge bomb for you. 1, 8 and 7 includes the number 1. But that means it's not on this line, so we can fill in a 4 and a 3 on that. 8 and 3. This is very helpful. Wow. 1 and 6. 7 and 8 in those two positions. Can't resolve them yet, but they give us 2 and 6. This is 8, so now we can do the 7s and 8s around the place. I'm going to get rid of the colouring, which has served its purpose. Let's go with a 1 there, 7 here. In this column we've got 4 and 8 to place. This one has become a 7 by elimination. 2, 9 and 3 here. Gives us 1, 9. Now we're going to finish, and this doesn't feel like a chili. Well, I did say chili again. Hopeless. This doesn't feel like a classic celery puzzle in terms of difficulty, but it feels like one of the best puzzles I've ever done in terms of just brilliance and minimalism and simplicity and innovation. This ticks so many of my boxes, and I also love that it's not too difficult. I actually love that. Well done, Celery. You've absolutely nailed that puzzle. That is the perfect demonstration of these 5 reference lines. Absolutely brilliant. I'm literally blown away. I don't know, if you don't understand what I'm talking about, I do get that. But the minimalism of the clues in this puzzle, the extent to which the constraint did its work with just a few little pushes from the green lines, I think that is lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching us. Be enthusiastic about what many people consider utter nonsense on the channel. And thank you to those who join in and do appreciate the same things we appreciate. We love you all, and we'll see you again soon on the channel. This was a pre-record, by the way, because I'm stayed on in Derby to do the UK Puzzle Championships on the Sunday, at which I will be terrible. But there we go. If you're bothering to go to Derby for a championship, you might as well stay for the second day and do the discipline you're not so good at. Anyway, we'll let you know how all that went fairly soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.